everyone, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're building a tiny house and we're actually building in the world of Newcrest, which is one of the base game worlds. And this little tiny house is actually kind of built for a mixologist sim or a sim in the mixology career, because I was thinking about doing a little series of tiny houses where each tiny house represents a different career in the game. And originally I actually wanted to build a tiny house for an astronaut, and that's what I was thinking of the whole time that I was thinking about doing this. I, for some reason, was thinking about an astronaut house, but I didn't really know what to build, so I went on Pinterest to get some inspiration. And as I was looking for houses or tiny house inspiration that I felt like would represent the astronaut career, I ended up stumbling onto this picture, and I'll go on and put it up on the screen now where you guys can see it and see what I'm talking about. But I have no idea why this picture came up. It really wasn't relevant, but I took one look at it and I felt like this is the perfect house to represent the mixology career because it has this built-in bar, and I just really liked it. As soon as I saw the bar, I thought, that's it. That's the mixology tiny house. So I decided to put off the astronaut career for whatever reason that I was stuck on it, and I decided to go in and do the mixology career first. And I wanted to put that little kind of open window thing, what would you call that, like a roof light, a skylight maybe. I wanted to include that, but the house was just too small and I couldn't figure out how to include it and it be functional, so I did have to just do a regular roof, which isn't as much fun. But my goal for this series is to keep all these houses tier 2 or under, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but that's the goal, is to keep them all as actually tiny homes, because the tier 3, is it the tier 3 or tier 1? I can't ever remember, but whichever one is the biggest one, isn't that actually classified as a small home in the game instead of a tiny house? But anyway, it doesn't matter. My goal right now is to keep it at tier 2 at the most. And so this did end up being a tier 2 house, just barely, but I managed to make it work. And I did want to have more bump outs, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't work it in with the tile amount and keep it tier 2. So it ended up being kind of a flat build, I guess. There's not a lot of bump outs. I tried to add a few where I could, but anyway, I just really loved the built-in bar on this house. I felt like that was absolutely perfect. So this house is mostly just designed to represent the mixology career. There's not a lot of personality to it besides that, but I went in the game and I kind of looked through every stage of the mixology career to see what kind of skills you would need and stuff you would need to get promotions and everything. And of course, the mixology career is actually in the culinary career line, I guess. But anyway, you start out as a dishwasher, and so you're kind of in the culinary mixologist branch. And then when it branches off, you choose that you want to be a mixologist. You guys know this. I don't know why I'm even talking about that, because I'm not doing a good job of talking about it, and you guys already know all that. But anyway, I'm terrible at always remembering like what skills you need and stuff, so I had a little look, and it mainly is that you would need the cooking skill. Actually, it was only 3 skills. It was cooking, mixology, of course, and then the charisma skill later on comes in as you get into the mixologist branch. And so I knew that I wanted this house to have a good kitchen, because you do have a few career levels that you need good cooking skills. So I wanted to have a decent kitchen. And then, of course, we have the bar area. And I just wanted it to be a fun house, because I feel like the mixology career is a fun career. And then with you needing so much charisma as well later on, I wanted to make it kind of like a party house, if that makes sense. I wanted it to have a really laid back vibe and just be a really fun space to be in, or at least look like that. So that was kind of my goal going into this. And I did pretty much recreate the shell of the inspiration picture, and I couldn't find a lot of information on what exactly this design was, because it kind of looks like concept architecture, but I don't feel like there was anything in the description of the pin. If you guys are interested in looking at it or anything like that, it is on my Pinterest account, or it should be, and it should be pinned under like Sims 4 build inspiration, I think is what the board is called. But anyway, I don't remember there being a lot of description to this pin, so I don't really know what it was or anything like that. I think there was a comment that mentioned it being a open plan dollhouse. So not 100% sure what the inspiration was, but I did use that shell basically to build the shell of this. And I kept the really pastel colors just because I really liked the way it looked. So the bottom of the house kind of has this brown beige color, and then the top part of the house has a little bit of a minty green or blue. I'm not sure which. It looks kind of green to me because the colors in The Sims are weird sometimes, and I don't know if it's The Sims or me. I honestly don't at this point. But we do have this little entertainment area in the back, so I got to include a little grill so you can make food in that way. You can raise up your cooking skill like that. And so there is a grill and a couple of seats back there. There isn't a bar. There's just one bar in this house, which is probably not a good idea. I actually realized that while I was playtesting, because as usual, I was playtesting this with Johnny Zest, and I was letting him raise his mixology skill and everything. And it was actually storming really bad when I went into playtest. It was like a really bad thunderstorm. And you guys know I don't play the game a whole lot. Mostly when I'm playing, I'm playtesting right now. And so I haven't played with the thunderstorms a lot. And I didn't realize that you could get struck by lightning. And so for some reason, there was another townie sim. I don't know who it was or anything like that. But he was standing at the door while Johnny was at the bar. And he was making drinks, and then the townie was waiting to be let in, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't getting a notification about it. I don't think it was the welcome wagon, but he was randomly standing at the door. Anyway, it was thunderstorming, and I kept making Johnny stay out there to practice his mixology skill. And then all of a sudden, that other sim got hit by lightning, and he died just right there. Or I don't know, it like there was marks on the floor, so I feel like I don't know what happened, but anyway, I didn't realize you could get hit by lightning. So poor Johnny Zest was standing out there, and he's not really outside, but I guess it considers it outside. But as you guys can see, this is the little bar area here, and there is a ceiling above it, so they don't get water on them. It's not raining on them or anything like that. So it's really weird that the sim got struck by lightning, or I feel like that's what happened. So I finally let him go in and sleep through the rest of the storm, but anyway, this is the only bar, and so that's basically the point of that story, is just to say that's probably not a good idea. I probably should have included one on the inside of the house so that your Sims don't have to be exposed to the weather to level up, but there is plenty of room in the kitchen when we get there. If you guys wanted to delete the dining table or something and add in an inside bar in there, then, that could work. But anyway, the bar is built into the house. So I will talk about that real quick because I don't know if a lot of people know this. I mean, I'm sure that they do. But back when I used to build a lot of tiki bars, I did this all the time. And so if you use the half wall feature, and I don't know what size the half wall is, I just use the one that's like right above the bar. It just covers the whole bar. But if you use the half walls and then you place the bar behind it, the bar is still functional, and I like that so much better than some of the bars that we have, because the one I'm using is just the one that you get as a reward for the mixology career. You get it later on, and it's not the prettiest bar that we have in the game, but the half walls still match the house, and like I said, I just like that a lot better. So if you guys are ever wanting to work a bar into a build like that, the half walls do work. Your Sims can sit on the bar stools, they can still be served by the bartender, and so your bartender will still serve drinks and tend the bar and everything like that. And I've never had any issues with that. The only thing is that when you actually place the bar stools on the bar, you do have to move the bar out from behind the wall to get the bar stools to snap onto it. And then you can just place it back right where you want it. Just like use the move objects cheat and get it placed just right. And it's completely functional. And look, it looks so much better because it actually looks like it's built into the house. I just like that so much better. But anyway, I also included a pool here because, like I said, I was just going for party house vibe. Like, this is a sim who is social and they love having parties and they love having people over, and I had to fill up the space. This is a 20 by 15 lot, so it's very small, but gosh, when you build tiny houses, there's still a lot of space left. So I did include a pool to take up a little bit of space. We have some pool loungers and just casual stuff like that, and then I threw in a dance floor as well. There is a stereo like wall speaker behind the bar, and it's covered up. Like I was mentioning, the weather can't affect it, so it's not going to break if it rains or snows or anything like that. And it's close enough to the dance floor that your Sims can still dance if it's playing. And so I have the little dance floor, which I think is nice. It's a little bit out of place maybe. This isn't your typical house though. I think that's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going with. This wouldn't be a typical house because it's just built to match these careers. And so there's parts of it that you may be like, well, that doesn't make any sense, Sarah. But it's fine. It's just to match the career or to represent these different careers, if that makes sense. Hopefully that does make sense to other people, not just me. But Anyway, I also included a really long dining table. Like I said, just party house vibes, having people over, chilling. Also, there's barely any room to live in this house, and so there's not a lot of room to do anything. I mean, you guys can see I have a pretty big dining table in the kitchen. Like I said, you could get rid of that and add in a smaller bar if you wanted to, just to keep your Sims from having to be outside when they're practicing their skill. But I did include some outdoor tables and stuff to fill up space and to add some decoration and just go with this kind of almost islandy. I kind of ended up using a lot of stuff from Island Living as well, because I don't know why, that's the vibe I was getting from it. So it's almost got this islandy party vibe, and that's how it ended up. But anyway, the first floor of the house is the kitchen. It's pretty big. Like I said, you do need some cooking skill early on in this career, so I did want to include a decent kitchen. And I was going to do open shelves and decorate them, but I didn't want to do that. As soon as I placed those shelves, I realized that I did not want to take the time to find decorations to do that, because one of the things that I feel like I use all the time when I'm decorating the open shelves, and when you see that on Pinterest, one thing that you see is glassware. And so you guys can correct me if I'm wrong about this. That's totally fine, because I'm definitely not a Sims 4 expert. But to access the glassware in the game, you have to use the debug or the live edit menu. And then most of that stuff will start smelling before long. Like after a couple of days, it's dirty and it makes your Sims uncomfortable, and it starts getting the little green, smoky, airy stuff coming out of it, the smelly stuff. And so then your Sims are uncomfortable because they're in a dirty environment. So I did use some of those glasses in the back, but that's what happened. I tried to grab the one that just said drink instead of actually being like one of the drinks, like a zesty, salty llama or whatever they're called. And so I grabbed one that just said drink, but it still got dirty and I had to get rid of them. And so I just talked about, in my last speed build, I just talked about how I'm not that into the kits. But honestly, I feel like a glassware, silverware, kitchenware kit, I might could get behind that, but I don't feel like anybody else would, because we do have the options available in the debug live edit menu, whichever one. And so I feel like most people would be like, no, that's already in the game, but they smell, and I don't like my Sims to have to be around smelly stuff. It's just not that nice, and I want some glassware objects that don't smell when you place them after a few days. But anyway, that's just me being a little bit weird, I guess. But I decided not to do the open shelves. And then the second floor is where the little bed is. It is just a single bed, so this house could only live one Sim. I tried to figure out a way to get a double bed in, and it just didn't make sense to me in any of the styles. Like, it just felt too cramped. I was going to use the Murphy bed, but then it was going to block windows and all that good stuff. So it is a single bed. There's a bathroom, but the sink is actually on the outside of the bathroom because it's a tiny house and the space was small. And then the very top floor is just like a little entertainment area, and it has a desk and stuff for your Sims to work if they wanted to. But anyway, that is our Every Tiny House is a Different Career Mixology edition, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments if you feel like it, and I hope you all are doing really, really well. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today during the speed build, and hopefully I will talk to you guys soon with another one.